today? What are we doing today?
We're putting in subs for a friend.
Yeah.
On his 2017 Subaru Crosstrek.
It's probably the newest car we've had in here, and
yes,
potentially ever.
Yeah. Usually, dog shit stuff walks in here.
Walks in here. Something it gets in here somehow. Skids.
Sometimes
slides.
we have to walk it in here. Yeah.
Exactly.
He got one of these Rockville under seat subs, and they're pretty sick. Yeah. It's all internally amplified. It's got all the connections you could ever really want on there.
Yep. It's a built-in sub, so it's the amp and a sub. It's kind of confusing. When we looked at it, we're like, oh, that's fancy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it fits perfectly under this Crosstrek. So if you have one, then this is, or under the Crosstrek, under the seat for the Crosstrek. So
we'll show you.
I'll show you that. And then we got jacketing, apparently.
Yep.
That's really necessary. Speaker wire, power wire stuff. You know, whole shebang.
Whole 9 yards. Mounting hardware. Here is the number right there. Got this off Amazon, I'm assuming. Same thing for this. The kit number, part number is SS10P. Found that on Amazon. I don't know how much he paid for it exactly, but I just Googled it and I found it for anywhere between $139 to $150 on Amazon. I never Googled this. But between this kit and this kit, I mean, this comes with the fuse. As I said, the wiring. He did get this separately. If you're following this more generally, you won't need this because this sub/amp thing has so you got your high level inputs and your regular low level input. If you have an aftermarket radio, all you would do is take the RCA, which is what these are, from the back of your aftermarket radio and connect them like that. But because this one, we're going to tap into the wires coming out of the radio, this kit comes with this handy dandy little connector right here that plugs into here and it has a pin out, so you connect this to the left speaker positive and the left speaker negative on one of these, I'm sure it says, and you don't need this. So this will literally do that on its own.
Pretty sick. Never seen anything like this before, but
no.
I don't know anything about, we don't know much about car audio, but
we're just kind of like, we'll give it a whirl.
Yeah.
So the game plan we're doing here is we're going to pop this cover off. We've already disconnected our battery cables. Make sure you do that on yours. A lot of sensitive electronics on these here fancy modern cars that we're not used to. We're going to pop this panel off and then pop the wheel well off, and then we'll look at where to run the wires to. Where the hood latch cable goes, there's a nice hole right next to it. We can run the power wire right in there, and we can ground kind of in the seat area. I'll show you guys all to run that, but that's generally what we're going to do, so let's get into it.
All right, so we got the car jacked up, got the tire off. I think it was a 19 millimeter.
Yes, it was.
And so you'll just, with these two fancy distinguished tools, probably just do it with a screwdriver. I might try that just to see. But you'll just go and you find the edge and you just kind of pop it out and the whole thing will come out.
Definitely recommend the tool though, if you can get one. Harbor Freight sells them.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's kind of a struggle with a screwdriver, but you can manage.
Just gonna go around, pop all these out. There's obviously these ones here. There's one here. Ooh, there's one at the top that is very crusty.
One there.
Several here. One there.
And there's a Phillips one.
Yeah.
Right there, you can see it. So, just get all those out, and we'll be back.
Yep. Mason's popping off the upper fender liner thing. We're under the hood now. And that will give us access to get our power through the fender and into the cabin.
Yep.
So we went through, there's a little plastic plug right there. We pushed it in, and there's Mason's finger. We cut a little hole in the insulation there, and that we'll be able to run our power wire right through there. Make sure you have silicone or a grommet or something to put in there. Otherwise it'll be A windy and wet floor.
Yes, and he already has wind issues. So this is the plug that was on the inside. It sticks to the firewall like this. So this is what you'll see sticking out. What we're going to do is probably cut this little tab off, and we're just going to drill a hole right through the center of this. That's whatever size the wire we're going to use, and it'll be perfect. We'll have a nice tight seal, and then we'll just silicone it just to be safe so we don't get any water going in there, because it is kind of right where the wheel is. So we just want to be sure we don't get any water in there.
So if that's the brake pedal, it's up there.
Yep.
Next to your, whatever the fuck that thing is, performance chip.
So now we can take our wire and we can get an idea. We'll move inside, figure out where we're going to run it down to the seat. So this panel here, I don't know if there's a bolt there on yours. This one there's not, but just grab behind it and pull out like that. And then grab this panel, give it a pull, just like that. Just be gentle and wiggle around a little bit. It'll come. There we go. You can just set these aside. And now we've got perfect access. You can see all these wires run right along here. And we're going to go just into the seat is where this kit's going to go. Number one thing with plastics is to be careful, especially when you're pulling those up, because you break that. And these are pretty sturdy looking clips, but
Like one of the number one things I've learned working on modern stuff is just taking your time.
yeah.
Because you can break stuff and it is a pain to replace.
Especially when it's something you'll see potentially every
Yeah.
time you get in and out. There's a staple here, and a staple here, and there was a staple here. So we just kind of pulled those up so we can get the carpet flipped over. If you reach your hand in, there's like a lip under this, this little track. We couldn't get the track up. I wish we could, but I went and cut a hole in the carpet right where my finger is, right there. So we're going to try and run the power wire from this hole, tuck it right along up under here, out through that hole that we just showed. So that's the plan for the power. And then if you're curious about the grounds right now, right here behind the seat, pull this little plastic piece off, like on that side, that just pulls out, same way we did that. And that bolt right behind the seat in there, it directly covers that bolt. And you can we'll put a ground wire right there. And that'll be perfecto. One thing you want to make sure to do if you're following us is make sure to we cut the thing off, we drilled the hole, make sure to put that on that way first so you don't run the wire and be like, frick. But anyway, make sure to do that first. Joey's over there. Here's his camera view. You can see what he's looking at.
Second camera angle.
Woo! So I'm gonna go right in the seat, kind of like I poked at earlier. I'm actually gonna install that later.
Here's our hole.
Try and fish this through the hole that I poked under the seat. So here's the wire through that hole that I poked with the knife. Now install this with this facing towards the firewall. Through something like that, figure out what way you're gonna get yourself through here.
Here's your trivia question of the day. I'll say it so you can hear it too. When installing speaker wire in a car versus a house, which one do you have to deal with or think about interference on? There you go.
That's a good question, actually. Wonderful question. I don't. Well, we've got tanglage. Need more?
We're good there.
Okay.
Should be more than enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the fun part. Well, maybe.
Sarcastically?
Sarcastically and possibly, I don't know, the most tedious, I guess is what I'm gonna say, because we gotta pull this out and then we gotta tap into wires, and that's always a fun chore. So, take a plastic trim tool and go behind right here and give it a twist. Oh, maybe twist it the other way. There, you hear it click, and kind of come down to here pull back. This whole thing slides out. And then you can kind of grab it and I'm just being very, very gentle here. If it doesn't want to go, get back in there. There it goes. And it just kind of pops out.
Sick.
We can put that somewhere where it won't get damaged. Same thing for this side. Twist, shake, all the things. This side's easier because the steering wheel's not in the way. There we go. Should wiggle out now.
Nice. So to pull this top part off, just put your hands there and there. And pull really hard and it will come off. Usually don't pull that hard when you're removing plastic stuff, but
we tried earlier to get it on film and this whole thing just came off. But that was the piece we wanted to come out the first time.
the other video we watched, because we were having trouble with it, the guy, when he pulled the fan shroud things out, that just like basically fell off. I don't know.
Yeah, no idea how we did that. But now we can get these upper two screws here. Have fun with that. We couldn't really get a tool back in here. I mean, we probably could have, but it wasn't sturdy enough, especially with a plastic. If we used the metal one, it would have just messed up the plastic. But take two hands and grab that like you did.
On these side little pieces. You can kind of get a purchase on there.
All right, so we got 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just a regular Phillips head. And now, easy does it. Now there's gonna be some wires, which is, being in a car is gonna be a little interesting.
You'll be able to pull it like most of the way out. Yeah, you got a lot of slack, it looks like.
It does not feel like I do, but that is helping, reaching down the wires and grabbing them. So what I'm doing is actually helping. It kind of sounds dumb, but kind of reaching in there. I'm not necessarily like pulling on them like super hard, but just kind of coaxing them in the direction of I want the radio to go in. This black wire though, I am going to take out because this is the one that is tight right here. So there's this one little black connector. I would like to be removed.
You have to go get you a hard hat out of my pickup.
Okay, so whatever that did has given us a ton more slack. Maybe not a ton, but a fair amount. All right, so we're going to use these controversial clips here. It's Joey's concentrating face.
What are they called? Scotch locks?
Quick clips, quick splices, Scotch locks. There's other words for them.
Roku clips.
Yeah, there's, the bad clips, Anyway, they're controversial for a reason. So do this how you want. Normally, if we had more room, we would use butt connectors. Joey's getting this one set up. Ooh. So one side's hollow, so you can feed the wire through. And the other side has a stopper that you put the speaker wire in. And you just give it a squeeze with one of those. And that little magnetic, that little metal clip there will bridge the connection. I don't know if we mentioned it. On this connector, if your radio is in this orientation, there's this plug and there's this one. Bass is monoly recorded. So these two, the green and the white, is for the front left speaker. So what we'll do is, I'll explain it a little bit later, but Joey's gonna test continuity.
.2 ohm.
Oh, you're looking at the multimeter. So all he's doing is sticking the probe in one end of the speaker wire and one end into the plug that goes to the back of the radio, and making sure that that connection is actually being made. Use the red ones, not the blue ones. That blue one somehow worked, so we're using it.
We got lucky, but I'll retest it.
Now, once you get that done, you can plug it right on back in. Oh, you see light kind of through the steering column there. So this panel is just super loose throughout this whole way. So we're just going to tuck it in through here and into this little cubby area right under the seat.
All the trim is back on. Everything's plugged back in, hopefully.
And I've been tucking wires. If you lean the seat back like this, you
You gotta say that you're tucking wires. You can't just say I've been tucking.
Been tucking wires my whole life. But now you can see. Why is this shit so dim? You can't even see it, but it comes out right back there.
No, you can see it. There you are.
But realistically, it'll kind of come out right about here. But anyway, now we gotta go play around under the seat. So, as we mentioned before, bass is mono. So, if you get this exact amp, check yours. Yours might have the same plug on it. If you have an aftermarket radio already, this is where you would hook your RCAs to, left and right. Boom, you're done. You don't got to do all this crap. I mean, technically, but there's one more step involved in this. So because we only used one speaker, if we used, say, the left door and the right door, we would have had to run 2 of those wires, so we'd have 4 wires in total. But we're just going to use that pair. So what we do here is this one has a nice diagram on it. We're going to connect the left plus to the right plus. So simply by just twisting these guys together. And then we're just going to stick a butt connector on it. And then same thing with this side. Make sure the amp you have has a automatic power on. So this one will be able to sense when the speakers turn on, when the radio turns on. Otherwise, you would have to use this REM or remote, and you would have to wire in a remote on. So you would find the power wire that goes to your radio. So every time your radio's on, it makes sure the amp turns on. But this one should be able to figure out that the speakers are on and turn itself on automatically, since we're using this system. So, cool thing.
Put the ground wire there on the back of the seat. I did take a Scotch-Brite pad and scuffed up the top of that bolt just to make sure it was good. Mason just RTV'd that, so should keep the water out, air out, everything out. And then we put that little wire loom cover on it, and Mason actually got it to fit into those body clips or wire clips, whatever you want to call them. And got it pulled up into here. Now we just got to run the fuse to it and hook it up to the positive. All right, so I got the fuse wired in, and it's double-sided taped in there. It's not gonna move. Mason said that stuff that I used is really good. Got a terminal hooked up here, so when we're ready, we can hook it up to the battery. And we stuck this wire loom stuff on it. I mean, it's kind of cheap, but it's better than nothing. So that's where it goes under there. I think I already showed that. Mason is currently wiring it up back here.
Yep. So I've just connected these 2 wires I talked about earlier. Again, it's mono, and I don't necessarily know what one is left or what one's right. Doesn't really matter. So just connected those together, and then just got the power wire stripped to the right length to fit perfectly in the hole. And we'll do the same thing for the ground. And that's it. Now we can test it. All right, so this is what it looks like. All plugged in and installed. We got the wires big chilling in there. Grounded right to the seat bolt. That wire just kind of comes down through there as we showed earlier. And yeah. You can go ahead and slide this on in there. Now's a good time right now to test everything. We just tested it. Ours works perfectly.
She got bass. Enough, just enough.
Enough to get him addicted, so he'll be like, man, I want more. And then it'll be back, and we'll put a massive box in the trunk.
If you don't have a, what is this? A Crosstrek, this will get you pretty close on any other Subaru. And then as far as wiring and stuff goes, outside of the stereo, I mean, it's kind of how it goes for all cars. So
yeah, You just basically, the only thing you really got to do to change this necessarily is figure out what speaker wires are what on the back of your radio or somewhere along your car. Like I did in my Suburban, which you'll probably see. I just found it along the sill where we ran the power wire. I just tapped into it there. This one was just easy because it was behind the radio.
If you like watching people work on cars, and if you want to see some cool fast car builds in the future, make sure you subscribe. And
Trying to get to 1,000.
1,000 subscribers.
Yep.
I think we're gonna do something for that.
That would be cool.
Some sort of live stream, hint, maybe.
That would be cool. Something planned. Anyway, thank you guys for watching on how to install some subs in your Subaru Crosstrek. And yeah,
It's a mouthful. Crosstrek.
It is a mouthful.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
Catch us in the next one. We'll see you
Peace.
later.